Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Fitness Education Series produced by the Australian Fitness Academy. It's like progressive overload for your brain. I'm your host, Tom Rock, and today's episode I want to talk a bit about nutrition confusion or nutritional confusion. And I haven't done a nutrition podcast in a little while, so I think it's a good little topic to cover. Now, nutrition's a huge part of being a personal trainer, gym instructor in the fitness industry. Nutrition is going to play a role in some respect of helping your clients achieve their goals, whether it is a weight loss goal or whether it's a hypertrophy, increased muscle mass goal. You're going to have to help them with their nutrition side of things, not just the training they do in the gym. And sometimes it can be a harder aspect to work with because we're not there when they're making all these decisions around what they're putting in their mouth and what they're fueling their body with. So we have to hopefully give them knowledge and skills to be able to eat well, that is aligned with their goals to see the best results possible. Because even if we're doing perfect work with them in the gym 2 or 3 times a week, what they do outside of the gym is going to have just as much, if not more, of an effect on their ability to reach their goal as what they do in the gym with you. So you're going to have to provide them with some information around nutrition. Eventually, again, you don't have to do this all on day one, all in their first session, and just give them mountains of information that they're never going to be able to take on and apply all in one go. So sometimes drip feeding little strategies or little ideas is a good way to go about it. But the idea behind, I guess, nutrition confusion is just the amount of information that's out there at the moment. So even though they're coming to you as a personal trainer or gym instructor or have whatever capacity you're working with them in, there's going to be a range of information that they're getting not just from you, but from the internet these days. There's all this information on the internet. There's different diets. They may have, even friends and family members are going to have opinions on nutrition, and they will have, I've tried this worked for me, you should do this sort of stuff. The TV and advertising is another huge aspect that will play a role in what your client believes is good nutrition or what they believe they need to be doing in order to reach their goals. And something that got me thinking about this is I was watching TV the other day, and just these ads come on. These ads for supplements. So whether it's vitamins and minerals and things like that. Take this like multivitamins, for example. Ads will come on selling these vitamins and minerals to individuals, which I thought was really interesting given the fact that as a personal trainer, we're not able to advise clients to take supplements. Even though we've got knowledge around nutrition and the health eating guidelines and how to fuel our body and what's important in terms of macronutrients, micronutrients, and how it all plays a role, we can't prescribe supplements, which is good. I don't think we should be prescribing supplements. We want to sort of prescribe a well-balanced, healthy diet where they eat generally whole foods, and any other sort of dietary requirements we can definitely refer out to a dietitian or nutritionist with further qualifications to find out if they do need these potentially vitamins and minerals or supplements. But the way that the TV and advertising goes is they can just sort of advertise these products and sell them and make individuals believe they should be buying these products and should be taking them when they may not be necessary, or even have the effect that the client is after. So that can create confusion about what the client needs, but it also potentially means they're sort of focusing, maybe even focusing on the wrong things if they should be focusing on sort of eating whole foods, fresh products, all these sort of things rather than sort of processed foods. But instead they just focus on, oh, well, I need to get my multivitamin or should be taking this. It's very hard for individuals and clients to sort of take on all the information and make changes because they might even see conflicting information. Like you might say you give them advice, and then they'll see sort of conflicting advice from someone else or from a different source. They'll see some other information, and it means they're sort of jumping back and forth. They don't know what to do, and it gets harder to implement. So I think nutrition is um, that one aspect of being a personal trainer or gym instructor that you need to be open to eventually talking to your clients about. Um, and it's sometimes hard not to sort of say don't do this or don't listen to other people. And you generally don't want to say that, but you want to be giving your client good information if they do come to you asking questions. Don't be afraid to refer on to a dietitian or nutritionist if they have sort of more complex or questions outside of your scope of practice, if they don't relate to the health eating guidelines, or they're sort of, whether they're vegetarian or they're sort of decided they want to go on a no carb diet because they read online that, well, I'm going to go no carbs and that's going to help me lose weight. That will be something you may want to just have a chat about what carbohydrates do, what they're used for, and if they are looking to do that, potentially seeing a nutrition or a dietitian might be a good option because they can help them make sure that they are meeting all their sort of nutritional needs if they are removing a food group from our diet. So when they come to you with things like this, it's good to be able to discuss the pros and cons. Not necessarily, you don't have to say take this supplement or do this diet or don't do that diet, but give them an educated have an educated discussion with them about, well, that's okay if you've read that. Just tell them what you think about potentially why carbohydrates are important, and why it might help them feel better or help give them the energy to get through a workout and these sort of things. So there's lots of options around discussing nutrition with your client. I think it always helps if they're getting good nutritional information, at least from you as a source. And the more good sources of information they can come by, the better. It's when they get all this conflicting advice, which happens this day and age with advertising and social media and internet, that they can get sort of pushed towards these things that may not be optimal for their goals, especially in cases where clients should be focusing on simple changes they can make to their lifestyle to help them reach their goals faster. So yeah, I think it's important to consider the information that's out there. So have a think about it this week, over the next couple of weeks, when you're watching TV, if you listen to the radio, things you see online, on social media. What sort of nutrition information do you see pop up that you're like, given your background or your study or interest, do you think that's potentially not good information for the wider population to be seeing, because it might send them down the wrong track? I'd be interested to hear. So if you see anything, shoot me an email, guys. If you see something that you're like, that's a bit too far, or it doesn't really relate to general population, or it's not going to necessarily help them in their, I guess their fitness or health goals, and things that might be out of scope for you, and they see these things and they sort of take them for gospel. So yeah, have a think about it. It's interesting, it's out there, but you always want to sort of be that educated, well-rounded general view of good, healthy nutrition, and anything outside of that, sort of encourage them. Again, the healthy eating guidelines are there to guide what we say and how we feel about and discuss nutrition, but don't be afraid to push them to a nutritionist or a dietitian if they have more in-depth questions, or if they're seeing these diets online and things, talk to them about what our body needs and the general benefits of eating the range of foods in the 5 food groups in the Australian Health Eating Guidelines. But just some thoughts there on nutrition, guys. Definitely send an email to tom@afa.com.au if you see anything in the next couple of weeks that you're like, that you see advertised, or you see some information being put online that sort of these huge claims that will tend to influence how the general population may eat, even though it may not be sort of best practice based on what we can say as personal trainers. Other than that, guys, if you've got any other thoughts or topics, things that come up in the gym that you see, or during your training, or anything you see online that you think you'd like to get my thoughts on, or hear a topic, you got any questions you'd like me to answer, send me an email at tom@afa.com.au. Definitely happy to cover any topics or questions that you guys have as well. Other than that, guys, have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you all soon.